It's come to my attention that despite all my social media ramblings on the subject, I have yet to sit down and disseminate my thoughts on the nature of criticism. As such, my channel has felt incomplete without a concise video on the subject until now. Why do I care so much for the subject? Well, in short, I'm a critic. I've been active on YouTube for over 4 years, and I've been active in the internet criticism community for over 3 times as long. In that time, I've seen just about every kind of critic there can be and have collected some important thoughts on the subject that I don't see discussed on the platform as much as they should. The most important thing for a critic to be is honest. Chasing trends, bending to popular consensus, and engaging in intellectual dishonesty are unbecoming of someone who's trying to express their own opinion. Part of this honesty is transparency. Every single individual on this planet has different tastes and tolerances. You're never going to agree with someone 100% of the time, and if you do, you might want to reevaluate your stances to see if it's something you truly believe, or if it's something you believe just because someone else does. Because everyone is different, anyone can be critical, but a critic is someone who is able to inform their opinion with evidence or insight that the average person simply lacks. Watching and studying films is necessary if you're going to criticize them, and the further you broaden your horizons, the more sources you're going to be able to pull from when discussing your opinions. But in doing so, it is paramount that you divulge your own tastes and tolerances to give your audience something to compare to. Otherwise, people will only watch you to seek validation. This is why Jeremy Jahns is so great as a consumer critic. His job is to push his audience to decide whether a movie is worth their time and money, and he does that by being completely upfront and honest. Because of that, you can watch his content not agreeing with a single thing he says about movies you've seen, and still use him as a trustworthy source of what you should and shouldn't watch. The kinds of cliches that are deal breakers for him might not bother you, and vice versa. So honesty is important for any type of critic. So important that one outright lie can compromise your integrity forever. This is not to be confused with changing your opinion. Changing your opinion based on new information is natural. I'm talking about outright intellectual dishonesty. Like strawmanning the I Stand With Vic crowd, all while trying to preach on the dangers of strawmanning, or saying something was never explained when it actually was. And these people deserve to be called out. I've seen a lot of people hide behind the wall of anonymity, and while the Twitter troll with 0 followers is best left ignored, those with hundreds if not thousands of followers need to be called out. If the critical community isn't willing to criticize members of their own ranks, then they have no right taking up criticisms against million-dollar corporations. Intellectual honesty is all I care about. Everything else is superfluous and extra. You could be the chillest guy in the entire fandom and be a complete milquetoast critic who has nothing to offer to the conversation. I won't care. I'll even respect the hell out of you so long as you portray yourself as such, and never try compromising your own beliefs just because some Twitter twat demanded that you call out something that didn't actually bother you. And the inverse is also true. Being an asshole doesn't make your points any less valid, but again, being negative generally requires you to put more effort into your arguments than being positive. It just goes to show that people generally want to enjoy what they watch. This is why I've leveled criticism at Adelaka in the past. He actually has a point more times than not, but he does a poor job backing up his points with evidence, and so his criticisms, no matter how valid, are easy to ignore. But these people are convincing enough. They do believe what they say they believe, and do their best to persuade people that their opinion is valid if not entirely accurate. It's the wishy-washy people that get under my skin. And I'm not talking about the usual progressive suspects. My main criticism with Unicorn of War is actually that he's boring. And he's boring in large part due to how much he lets his worldview cloud his opinions on RWBY. You've seen one of his videos, you've seen them all. But I still respect him because he walks that tightrope of sticking to his guns while letting new information affect how he views old information. To my knowledge, he never flipped his opinion on Volume 5, merely acknowledged where it was all going and how he's more fine with it now because of how much he enjoyed Volume 6 and 7, which those intimately familiar with my channel will recognize as the same pattern I developed for the weaker arcs in One Piece. No, the only critics I don't have much respect for are the ones who do complete 180s on their positions without any new information. They say one thing, get tons of flack, and then delete entire Twitter threads and videos in a transparent search for validation. Which would be less grating if they didn't keep doing the shocked Pikachu face every time someone disagreed. It's naive and asinine to try to get everyone to agree with you. The truth hurts, opinions are like assholes because everyone has one, there's always a dissenting opinion, there's a reason why the point of a joke is called a punchline, and if you want to play ball, you better wear a cup. I'm Mediocrity4, thanks for watching.